So, welcome to October's coaching clinic. This month, we're looking at relationships and particularly just how to hear your wisdom when it comes to relationships. I've been on quite the journey, as you can imagine, after the death of my partner three years ago, and I've just been seeing things about relationships in a whole new light. I also had a lot of training ground during my relationship with Francesco, where I had a lot of insight, especially around the question, should I stay, should I go? And so I wanted to bring this topic forward this month, just for those that maybe are really wanting to see something fresh in this area, or maybe are just doubting their wisdom when it comes to what they're hearing about people, about family, about relationships in general. But this applies across the board. So whatever I share today, I know it'll help you in different areas, not just this area. Just to remind you, the coaching clinic is available on YouTube. If you want to re-listen, it's usually there, or you can email me directly and I'll get it to you. And we meet on the first Tuesday of every month. Today we're meeting on a super solar eclipse, believe it or not. So I'm expecting the energy to be heightened. And I always like to start with a gentle grounding exercise just to bring us into the space, a meditative, relaxing moment together. So if you're open to it, just join with me as we close our eyes. And whether you're on the bed or you're on the sofa, it doesn't matter if you want to keep your camera on or turn it off. It's at your discretion, whatever feels good. But we'll just start by closing our eyes and placing our feet firmly on the ground and beginning to take some deep breaths in through the nose and out. Let this moment be yours. Let yourself slow down using the breath in through the nose and out. And in through the nose and out. In your mind's eye now, see roots coming from your feet down through the ground, down into the underground, and right down to that rock at the bottom of the earth. Wrap those roots around that rock. This rock is emanating golden light, the light of our true nature, a healing light that's moving now from the rock up through the roots, through the underground, up through the ground, up through the floorboards and into your feet. Send this light now all the way up through your body. See it coursing through each area, healing as it goes. See it enveloping your entire body until it reaches the top of your head. And just notice yourself basking in that light of your true nature. Continuing to breathe now, noticing your breath in through the nose and out. Letting yourself feel settled. Set intention here that you would get the insight you need or crave, that you would have clarity that you require or desire right now. Set the intention for yourself, whatever it is that you would love a shift around, that through joining here together, you would see what you need to see, you would know what you need to know, and that you'd be able to do what you need to do with confidence and faith. Now, once more, just see those roots coming from your feet down through the ground, down into the underground, and right down to that rock at the bottom of the earth. Wrap those roots around that rock. Feel yourself centered, allowing yourself to listen deeply during this call. Whilst the mind will want to make up opinion, judge, analyze, compare to what it already knows, just allow yourself to hear on a new level. And in that hearing, experience the fruit of that hearing as you go about the rest of your day. And just come back into the clinic now, opening our eyes and being here. Sometimes the insight or clarity or direction we're looking for occurs later, doesn't necessarily occur during a call. And yet, as we come together each month on these calls, and those of you that are working with me privately or in other group situations, as we engage this way, we're preparing the land for great change in our day-to-day life. We're experiencing fertile ground. And so let's do our best not to effort to get an answer on anything as much as we would love to maybe just have a deep clarity on, especially on that one relationship or that one idea. But rather, let's know that here we're preparing the soil, and the insight, the wisdom will land. You know, the seed will grow. It will become so clear, so obvious. And I wish I'd known that back in my relationship with my partner. You know, I really thought I needed to make a decision about my relationship. I didn't see the role state of mind was playing in my relationship with others. So I would fall into feelings of dissatisfaction, discomfort, frustration. And I would assume that meant I was in the wrong relationship. You might experience those feelings and assume you're in the wrong job, or you're not a great coach, or you're crap at something. I don't know, right? That can happen to all of us, right? But the place I would get hooked the most when my state of mind dropped was relationship. Some of my clients, when their state of mind drops, they get hooked about money. Others get hooked about image. Some get hooked about health issues. Mine would get hooked on relationships. I didn't see innocently at that time that being in the question, should I stay, should I go, am I with the right person, was leaving me very unsettled. I took my thinking very seriously back then. How did that change? Insight. Hearing that my feelings, my insecure feelings were representative of an insecure state of mind, were not indicative of a terrible relationship. That was a game changer for me. So over time, what started to happen was, as soon as I got into the question about should I stay, should I go, I knew my mind had dropped. I knew I was tired. I knew not to keep asking that question from that state. As we begin to see that our feelings are invitations to get quiet, we are less seduced by scary feelings. What do I mean by get quiet? Well, a busy state of mind has a lot of questioning. And we can quieten that state of mind both by just noticing when it's really busy in there and by leaving some space, like you're all doing here today, to just settle down rather than adding more and more information, more things to learn, more stuff to do on your calendar, just leaving some space. Wisdom grows stronger in space, internal space. So the question, should I stay, should I go, became representative for me as your mind's busy, Grace. Settle down. And don't even think about talking about your relationship right now. And boy, was that a game changer. I noticed that I stopped taking things personally because I started to see that I was just often using my thinking against myself or others. Now, when two people come together and they're not taking things personally and they're not feeling insecure about one another, all there is love. There's a light-hearted love feeling. And similarly, when two people come together to talk about their relationship or something that they're not happy about and both parties are insecure, well, that's a recipe for a bit of an argument or a disconnect, a feeling of discouragement. So I just started to see, in an insecure state, it's not wise to look at my relationship. It's definitely not wise to talk about it or try and address it with the other person or with anyone. I started to see, oh, your thinking has dropped, Grace. And you're getting hooked again by the same thing. You might notice in your life there's an area where you get hooked every time your thinking drops or you get tired. Now, that doesn't mean that wisdom isn't available. Like, we can hear our wisdom when it comes to situations and relationships. We can hear our wisdom guiding us on what to do. Each time I would leave my relationship in the early days, my mind would settle down. I didn't know this was happening, but my mind would settle. I would feel a sense of relief from getting away from the situation. It was the best I could do. The best my wisdom could come up with was leave, get out, get out, get away. And after a couple of days of just getting quiet, I would wonder why I had left. And luckily I was with someone who was conscious enough to not take it too personally. And at some point we would come back together. At some point for me, the penny dropped and it didn't make sense anymore for me to leave my relationship or try and fix it when in a low state of mind. I stopped doing that. That's change. That's incremental change. That you could be behaving one way for years and that could shift to behave in a wiser way. It stopped making sense to walk away. And so, you see, our wisdom is available in each moment. And as our consciousness rises, we will get fresh wisdom, healthier wisdom, perhaps, on what to do. The wisdom I got at this level was perfect for where I was, because guess what? I would get a sense of relief from getting away. But the wisdom I got from this level was just clearer. What changed? Seeing the role that state of mind was playing. Seeing that our thinking flavors our experience of people and life. And trusting, beginning to trust that life knew what it was doing and would continue to run through me and through our relationship. In fresher and newer and better ways. Now, can you imagine if I knew how this story was going to play out? That eventually my partner would die suddenly, just as his grandfather and his uncle had done so at a young age. I wouldn't have wasted so much mental energy wondering if I was in the right place at the right time with the right person. Because life knows what we need. Life knows how long your relationship is for. Life brings forward and moves out whatever is destined. And this deeper trust in life and wisdom is where we want to look to, versus the constant questioning in our mind. So being in love is available in every moment for each of us, whether we're home alone or we're with someone. Because being in love is nothing more than dropping out of a world of thinking and into the present moment, where our senses come alive and we wake up to the beauty around us. Not even dependent on having someone with you or in front of you, but rather dropping into that space of love and presence, always available. Most of us have someone in front of us and we're too busy in judgmental thinking about them to even feel any sense of love. And then we think, oh, it's them, but it's not them. It's our flavors of habitual thought getting in the way of what's always there. Does that mean you should stay? I don't know. But what I do know is that wisdom will guide you with a calm, clear answer in a clear state of mind. Does that mean that we accept everyone's behavior and we just see it as our thinking and we shouldn't be so judgmental? Absolutely not. If there's anything I've learned in the last 3 years, it's that I am not to blame for people's bad behavior. I used to use my thinking against myself. Oh, you know, I shouldn't be so judgmental. Maybe I should just put up with this situation and oh well, this part, it's their thinking, it's their state of mind. Now I'm much stronger about, you know, who I'm going to spend time with. Now I'm less likely to make it personal when someone else is just, you know, not being so respectful. So please don't confuse what I'm sharing with you as you just put up with anything and anyone's behavior. You don't. Be selective and be selective with our thinking, knowing that we're one thought away from a fresh new experience in our world, be that in a relationship or in a job, in a health issue. So, what's coming forward, if anything, for people? Is anyone open to sharing, or has anyone got a question around this? Is anyone in the midst of a thought storm or a kind of swinging on one decision or the other? Does anyone feel that life's looking to them like they've only got two options? Wisdom is always the third option. The intellect will always come up with, I can do this or I can do that, but that's it. I've got this choice in front of me or that choice, but that's it. No, no. Wait for the third option. Wisdom is usually in the third option that can't even be seen right now. And for me, that option wasn't to stay or to go. That option was to become present in mind, to take care of my state of mind first. And woohoo, guess what happened? As I did that, all of what looked like a problem fell away. All of my questioning fell away, and I got to enjoy the remainder of our relationship together really beautifully. really gracefully. We all have a third option, and wisdom guides that. So, feelings of insecurity about your relationship, or feelings of insecurity about your bank account, or your age, or any of that, nothing more than an invitation to get quiet inside. Nothing more than a little bit of an alert, an alarm bell that we're busy minded, that's all. Sydney Banks said, the moment you feel angry or insecure, just see you're not seeing right. You're not seeing right. Mandy,
I'm not sure if I should, but it keeps calling to me to say
please
that
do.
I'm not in a thought storm at the moment.
Good.
It feels very clear to me that I'm in the right place right now. But historically, I would go into massive thought storms and I would keep them going, keep feeding them. One way was to journal and then reread it.
Right.
It made sense to me to stay in the angst because it felt like that's where the decisions were going to be made from. When I came back into clarity of mind, it was almost like, oh, I've missed the opportunity now. And it looks so crazy now. But I can remember as three principles teacher, Annika Hurwitz, her daughter said she used to leave herself a message at night, remember to be mad with mum in the morning, because she knew she'd wake up in a clear mind.
Wow.
And I was certainly playing that game for a long time. I would keep the conversation going with people, look for evidence to say I shouldn't be here. And yet I stayed because there were plenty more times where it felt right than it felt wrong. Now, when I started to see this behavior of mine, which was frantically journaling or going on to Zoopla looking for accommodation to rent, I would catch myself and think, okay, I've gone into that behavior again. This means I'm in a low state of mind. And I would still want to feel justified. So when you're saying about hooked, that's always been my hook, to go into the relationship rather than money or health.
Mm-hmm.
But recognizing there's nothing to be done here from this place. You know, journaling's fine now. If I do journal it out, I throw it away afterwards rather than reread it to remind myself how awful it was or whatever. But it just feels just going into a crazy world. That's what it felt like. All the evidence when I want to see it is to say I'm in the right place and have been for 35 years. So it's a long time.
Yeah.
But looking back at my behavior and my habits from that low state of mind, and boy, did I take things personally. It's like, there's another example, write it down. It's like, no, I just think, wow, bless me, all done innocently. But yeah, exactly what you're saying is, I just resonate so much with that. So thank you.
Well, it
But
sounds like a very similar journey, Mandy. And I
mhm.
love that you've been able to see deeply there, you know. I really resonated with you saying that, feeling right versus feeling wrong, that you were able to see it was more of a feeling right than a feeling wrong. And like that's our guidance system. Doesn't matter what our mind makes up. We're feeling moment to moment. And as we get sensitive to that feeling, we are less concerned by what the monkey mind brings up. We just feel it just feels right.
It's also, I'd add that there are plenty of people who would, mirror what I was going through. Plenty of friends, plenty of books, plenty of lots of things. I could find evidence to say that I was right. And so many friendships have fallen away as that those conversations don't make any sense to me anymore. The
Yeah.
kind of gossiping, the sharing experiences about, and they did this and they did that.
Yeah.
So things shift, the whole world shifts, I think, as we show up differently.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I was just away in the Amalfi Coast, and I invited a friend of mine, and we've been friends for a number of years, really. And I again back to the wisdom piece. I always knew something was a little bit off. Um, but I tended to doubt the feeling. I tended to think, Grace, don't be so judgmental, or oh, yes, people have a bad day. And the two things occurred this time around, which were beautiful. First of all, we had a great time. And secondly, I saw your intuition's never wrong. And there's a growth that has occurred. There's a shift that has occurred. How can it not when we're all looking in this direction? That leaves me more interested in other types of friendships, other conversations. That's not unusual. That doesn't make the people around us wrong. It's just that we might notice that rather than second guessing ourselves in the moment, we might start to trust what we hear initially, because otherwise we're just going to see it further down the line. Better late than never. Better late than never seeing it. But there's something there around just trust yourself. Let's trust ourselves when it comes to that feeling. Oh, that's something off there. Trust yourself when you're getting exhausted with people. You don't have to keep hanging out there. We don't have to include everybody in our lives to be good people. We don't have to keep people on our mind to show that we care. We can let go of thinking about them. And they can still be okay. Mandy, that was a really helpful, beautiful share. And I just love the wisdom that arises in you each time. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to share, want to explore, want to see something fresh together? Birdie.
I'm about a third coming from that direction. Oh, I came out of hospital after having a mini stroke. And the first time out and about, someone made a big proposal to me in the middle of Tesco's. I thought, oh my God, he's sort of super crazy. You could see the emotion was there and the passion was there and everything. And I couldn't even look at him. And even now, I still find it really hard to look at it. But this is 5 years ago, nearly, right? And every time I see him, I mean, at first, my nervous system used to go frantic and I'd blank out and everything. And I'd go around shopping and I can remember what I wanted or what I was doing. I'd get to the till and hopefully everything was okay. But he's backed off a little bit, but he's still there. He's still there. And it makes me feel so guilty because my feelings weren't like his. You know, he had very strong, powerful feelings, and I had no clue what my feelings were. I was totally surprised. And like Dominic was saying yesterday, I thought, oh, God's gone crazy. He can't be it's all completely nuts, you know. And yeah, I'm settling down to it now. But there's a guilt about not being able to show up for him. But at the same time, he's like a Ferrari going out, and I was there on my putt-putt, you know, trying to start. And I do have feelings for him, you know, and I can feel them when I'm not there, when I don't see him. But when I see him, it sort of goes crazy. But yeah, you know, it's like this fight or flight, and I flight, you know. And listening to your story has really helped me so much, and about not feeling guilty about the whole thing.
Good,
You
good.
know, because, you know, you think, oh, I must be mad. Then I remember, oh, Grace was saying she used to do this. You know, you take your flight, and I thought, yeah. But I'm getting used to it and getting used to the idea. I've been on my own for a long time, and that's the big thing too. So having someone in your life, you know, and I can see he's always there. He's always watching me. He's always protecting me as well.
Yeah.
Which is really lovely. And he's not lost his head. He's not taken it personally. You know, he's a big character. So, yeah,
Well,
I'm settling into it gently.
good for you.
But
Yeah,
thank
good.
you so much for everything that you say, because it all makes so much sense to me.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad, Birdie. And I love that. I mean, it's so nice to be admired. Who cares where it goes?
Yeah, yeah, yes. I felt very honored, but at the same time, so surprised. I was like, what? Because when I was in hospital, you know, I remember saying to them when I got there, I said, oh, what happens now? You know, I said, oh, you've had a stroke. And I said, so what happens now? Oh, you could die any minute, this week, in 5 minutes, in 10 minutes, in half an hour, in a week, in a month, in a year, in 10 years. You know, and there's me thinking,
You
oh,
know,
I'm going
it's like or anywhere else.
you know,
Forget the glass there, you know.
yeah, and
I didn't know, you know, go ahead. I think I froze, Birdie. Go ahead.
yeah, and yeah, and I thought, well, how do I tell him I might have a stroke any minute? You know, that sort of sounds crazy enough. How do I tell someone I've been through that? I could not tell him, and then I thought I would have to, and then I thought, but now it's not so important because it's quite a while back, so that makes
Yeah.
it a lot easier. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
I don't know if I froze or if people were able to hear me, but
you did
I
slightly, yeah, you did.
I was just saying, isn't it lovely to be admired?
Yeah, yeah. I say I felt very honored. Now I absolutely loved it, but at the same time, I thought, what? Yeah,
Well,
it's my reaction more than anything else that shocked me, because there was fear there as well, and I didn't know what the fear was about, and I thought, I don't think it's about him, but there was real fear there. But I'm
yeah,
looking back at it now, and what I'm seeing is I needed time to heal, or my body needed time to heal, or my brain needed time to heal. And I think that was spirit guiding me just to
good.
settle down. But at the same time, it was offering me that too. So it was quite confusing. Yeah.
Well, guilt is a habit of thought,
Hmm.
and I didn't really know that. And it's just, you know, it's a way that we use our thinking to flavor an experience of life. So the more we see that we can receive the gift of being admired, that's just a lovely gift to receive. It doesn't mean we owe anyone anything.
Hmm.
And the less we're using our thinking to jump into the future,
Yeah.
we just get to be in the present, enjoying what is, or the relationship that is, or the relationship that could be. But we are the hope in this direction, as we look at these principles that guide life, is that we can have a fresh experience of a person in any minute, even if the experience up until that moment has been fearful or guilty or ambivalent. We get to have a fresh experience of people in any moment that our thinking simply changes or shifts. Now, some people innocently take that as needing to change their thinking and let's reframe how we see things. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about we see where our experience of people is coming from. Thought. And depending on the thinking we are having in that moment, that's the person in front of us.
Yes. And over time, my thinking has changed over so many things, including him. And I see how it's changed. And I thought, well, why was my thinking like that? And I thought, was that because of COVID? Was that because of the stroke? Or was it just because that's who I was? I don't know. But it's different.
Yeah. So we're grateful for that change. Isn't that hopeful? That is so hopeful.
And in
that we Go ahead. Go ahead.
In so many ways, it's softened.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. Trust that, Birdie. Trust that. The feeling of softening around someone, about someone, is a very good indicator. The feeling of fearful, sort of tight tension about someone isn't always an indicator that we need to stay away.
No, I mean, I'm looking at that now. I'm thinking, I think it was excitement, but I was trying to hold it back because of where I'd been or what had just happened. So I thought, no, this can't be happening, that sort of thing. So, but now I think I've relaxed on that and not worried about it. And I thought, okay, Spirit knows what it's doing. It's brought me this. You know, it's given me gift.
Yes.
And, you know, it is a gift. So it can't be wrong. It's just me that's not seeing it properly.
And you're a gift to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a gift. Thank you, Birdie. That was beautiful. Thank you. Anybody else? Oh, yeah. Is it Katie? Come on. Can you? Okay, there you go.
Hi, Grace. Yeah.
Oh, good to see you.
This is a topic that is so close to my heart. I think I'm like you. I missed the bit in the middle, but the bit at the beginning when you said, like, when you're in a low mood, this is where you get hooked. I think I've got hooked on this all of my life from about being a teenager. And the running away part that you described and the relief, it so resonates with me. And so I've been with my husband for like coming up on 18 years, and we have two beautiful teenage daughters. And but I think I was doing this running away thing before I met him, probably in every relationship I've ever been in. And it's taken me quite a long time to sort of see, oh, wait a minute, there's a pattern here, that this is what I do when I get freaked out and scared. But what's coming up for me in this conversation today is, and it really frustrates me because it happens every time. It's like, I want the conversation to be about me and my husband, but then it's like, no, it's not about you and him. It's about me and myself. It's about me in relationship with me, because the person that I don't soften to, the person that I have no compassion for is myself. And I think when I soften with me, then I soften with him. But when I'm hard on me, the hardness kind of, it sort of goes in and out. Like, so I'm hard on me, I'm hard on him, and I'm hard on him, I'm hard on me. And then the whole thing is just hard. And the softness isn't there. And a lot of that is to do with feelings of shame and feelings of guilt. And when I'm not hard on me, and when I'm not hard on him, we're all right, we're good, it's okay. So
Yeah.
It's a kind of, the ultimate relationship is how you relate to yourself, really, isn't it?
What a powerful thing for
Whatever
you.
that means, it's kind of,
Yeah. What a powerful thing for you to say. See, that won't steer you wrong.
yeah,
Wisdom is like a spiritual protection. It's guiding us. The fact that you can see the game you're playing. Oh, this is how it works. Hard on me, I end up being hard on others. That's all. That's like a spiritual balm that is going to support you in all relationships.
yeah. I mean, that's a good word. And sometimes it's difficult with teenage daughters too, right? But I had a massive meltdown at the weekend about some behavior of my husband's, but where I would typically uh block or resist or suppress or deny my emotional experience, this time I just kind of like sort of let it blow in, let it blow out. Like, I have a husband who doesn't take things too personally either. He took one look at me, he knew to just leave me alone, and I sort of just kind of saw my own emotional experience as a kind of a thing that was just happening. It didn't mean a disaster about anything, it just, there was a lot of feeling, and then I let it kind of be there, and then it just melted away. And then we went to Tesco's and did the shopping, and eventually it was all fine.
Tesco seems to bring a nice feeling. I don't have that anymore in Italy, but I like the sound of it. You sound so aware and alive, and what matters in all of this is just your ability to see in the moment. Those good parts far outweigh any of the difficult parts.
Yeah,
And
I was going to say that, and they're quite subtle. What you're arising is like an appreciation of stuff that I'm like. Usually, there's so much like, I want him to be like this, and why can't he be like that? And I need this, and I need that, and then that just sort of, it's like, oh, that overrides what's already here, which is much more subtle and much more gentle and much less grand, if you like. It's not the kind of massive movie with all the music and all the lights and the camera and the action. It's just like, oh crap, he's here all the time. He doesn't give up on me, even when I'm in a meltdown mess. He's just giving me some space, waits for me to get over myself.
yeah. And how lovely that we can have appreciation and it can grow. We appreciate the small pieces of health that we can see in a relationship, and that grows. We appreciate the times when we are both in a good state of mind, and that acts again like a spiritual balm going forward.
I mean, I think I fall into a hole very quickly. And then when I fall into a hole quickly, I'm in a massive drama. Like, what happened? What happened? Where did the good feelings go? But then, it's happened a lot in the last few months. There's been a lot of good feelings, really down feelings, but this fluctuation is almost teaching me, right, to kind of move through the fluctuation, to kind of understand that, like you said at the beginning, nothing means anything about anything. It's not a sign that this is the wrong relationship. It's just a sign of fluctuation.
Yeah. Well, thinking fluctuates quicker than anything. So, of course, our experience of life fluctuates, our experience of people fluctuates. And as you said beautifully, Katie, it's just about taking care of our state of mind first. Taking care of that first. And then what we notice is, as we do take care of that, our experience of life and people is gentler. And their experience of us is gentler because we're less volatile or fluctuating.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, the image that comes to my mind all the time is like I live with a big hammer over my head like that, ready to kind of like, you shitty person kind of thing. That really, I've done that so much and it really doesn't actually help. So if I can just even see the hammer and kind of go, yeah, well, I don't actually need to use it, do I?
Oh, that's right. And because you're seeing that already, that will get less and less and less compelling to you to use. It really will. The serum is in. It's already at work. You're already catching yourself. And we just want to be patient and grateful for the incremental changes that begin to emerge every time we catch that hammer. In my grief, it really became apparent to me because I would get the hammer and I would beat myself up for all the ways I got it wrong as a girlfriend or as a fiance. And at some point, it really just occurred to me, and this was wisdom, I feel, Grace, you can use your memory to hurt yourself or to help yourself. What's it going to be? But up until I had that moment of clarity, I was using my memory to hurt myself. And just the feeling just gets so awful in us. Don't worry. Don't worry. The feeling will get so awful that you will stop doing that.
Mm. That's true. And the feeling has been really awful at times. And one of the times that was really, really awful was when he proposed to me and I wanted to say no, but we had a 3-month-old baby and there was no way I wasn't going to kind of sort of follow through with it. I just didn't necessarily, and all the ways I didn't honor myself and all of that. Anyway, really recently, and this is after a long time of looking in this direction, I suddenly thought, God, how sweet that he actually even wanted to marry me because we had a baby together, and he even, he was kind of honorable enough to kind of even take that action, but I didn't see it at the time because I was freaked out.
And maybe it wasn't about being honorable, but rather you had a man in front of you that loved you and still loves you.
Yeah.
Katie, thank you for your sharing today. Thank you. Just notice the quiet we're sitting in. Regardless the worries we have, this quiet, this space beyond all thought has the potential to heal and make clear anything we're up against. I always loved that quote or that analogy. I can't remember. I think it was Michael Neal who shared it with me. You know, humans are the only species to speed up when they get lost or scared. If you look at animals in the wild, if they get lost in the wild, the first thing they do is stop, regain their bearings, and tune in for the direction to go. We, on the other hand, innocently, we get scared or we feel lost, and we get frantic about what we need to do and what we need to fix and who we need to call and who we need to leave. When really all we want to do is get quiet. Because this quieter space inside is fertile ground for wisdom. You can still get your wisdom, even in the midst of a great big thought storm. Don't get me wrong. But just noticing this feeling of inner calm, knowing that that calm guides us in every situation and scenario. And that in that calm, our questions might even fall away. Things that look urgent might suddenly not be. And just to finish, there was a point that one of my clients wanted me to bring up, and it might resonate or not. But she was very concerned about the fact that she got married. And for her, it wasn't a big resounding yes. And yet she's been married for 27 years, I think now, or 28 years. And as we were exploring together, it became so clear that love isn't about a big resounding yes in the moment. Or as I said to her, you know, the perfect wedding dress and big resounding yes. Love is more about the longevity that you have together. Being able to see each other in a more positive light, however incrementally, however small. And as she began to see that she'd bought into the, I suppose, the fairy tale or the movie industry idea that it had to be a big resounding yes and a perfect Prince Charming, you know, she really started to settle. And she felt appreciative of her husband and their relationship in all these years. So with that share, I just want to invite you to let go of any ideas that love is supposed to look a certain way. You know, that the man has to do this, the woman has to do that, or if it was really love, it would look like this and I would never be feeling anything other than that. No, 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 no. Trust that life's inviting you or has already invited you to the person you're meant to be with. And as Marianne Williamson says, every relationship is an assignment. Trust that you're in the right assignment. And if you're wanting a different assignment, that'll come too. You don't have to do anything to get it. And if love is feeling out there or not as you might like, just know it's when we're not feeling in love, we are just back in that busy state of mind. Taking care of that first changes the game, changes your experience of life and people. If I can help you with that, please get in touch. I'm available for some private coaching at the minute. You can email me on gracefulcoaching@gmail.com. We can set up a time to talk, have a look at what you're after, what you'd like to see fresh, what you'd like to see differently. Happens to be a way that I help people. And I look forward to being with you all next month for the November coaching clinic, first Tuesday in November. Thanks for your presence, everybody. Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Grace. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for your sharing.